Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the DFS Minute brought to you by DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy sports, all coaching, all tools unlocked with coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Triggers 20% off. I'm your buddy Chopadong, senior contributor and coach here at DFSArmy.com. And what I wanted to do for the DFS Minute today was walk you through where I would start. If I was waiting on information to come out, I'm waiting for my coaches or whoever's articles I read or whatever research information I go to, and I'm waiting for information to pile in before I start making my decisions. I've had my lunch break. I'm getting ready. I'm thinking about DFS today. My work day is winding down. Where am I going to look when I'm just itching like crazy to start figuring out what I want to look at tonight when I get home from work and hopefully pound in a few lineups before the day starts, before the lock happens, and before I fall into kids and bath times and everything else that we all have to deal with on a daily basis. I would start, let's say I want to play NBA. I would start right here in the NBA research station, and I would scroll over to the Vegas section. I want to look for team totals. Who is implied to score more points than usual? Because again, as these teams start to score more points than they usually do, they're priced according to their averages, kind of. And if they're getting a boost tonight, the pricing probably did not reflect that. And that automatically puts somebody in a little bit of a value situation. If I normally score 8 points tonight on the average night, but tonight I'm supposed to score 112, there's a few more points to go around. And I realize it's a minuscule amount, but it's a general concept. Pricing is based on my team, my role on this team scoring about 108, 109 points. If I score 113, Vegas is saying that I'm already going to score above my average. Vegas is saying that I'm going to have a better night than usual. Vegas is saying to the DFS crowd, your pricing might not be correct. Might be a little underpriced compared to what this guy might do tonight. So those are the numbers that I'm starting to look for. Pace of play is another one. Somebody who is paced up. Why are they paced up, and why are they kind of pointed up, if you will? Because they go hand in hand. If the team is playing at a faster pace than they usually do, they're going to get more possessions. They're going to get more opportunity. Therefore, they're going to have more chances to score fantasy points, which means that over the long run, night after night after night after night, across a month, 2 months, 3 months, a season, 2 seasons, whatever, in the long run, more opportunity leads to more fantasy scoring. And again, when you're priced on your average, all of a sudden, your price didn't keep up with your production tonight, which means you might be priced a little bit lower than what you're supposed to do, which is inherent value. These are places that I might start. So what would I do tonight? If I wanted to get this on a really, really short list, the first thing I would do on DraftKings Research Station is sort that down by centers. Why? Because there's typically only one center per team, and that makes this list a little bit shorter. So you can see all of the sections that we have to look at. But I'm going to look at who is pointed up. Which teams? There we go. I'd be looking at Cauley Stein, Cantor, whatever. But really and truly, I'm looking at the team offenses. Golden State, Boston, Utah, Detroit, Sacramento, etc. And then I'm going to pick the guys, you can get into fantasy points per minute usage, stuff like that. But you can get into those guys on your own. I'm going to try and pick those guys in those offenses that are most likely to receive the benefit from this point up situation, and I'm going to dig into that guy when I research him tonight and compare him to other guys on the side. Some guys, let's take me for instance. I'm not a good basketball player. You could take me right out there on the basketball court today, and you could have me pointed up for 30 points, and all across the industry, everybody's going, "Oh my God, that Chopadong guy is in a great position to score points." I still can't play basketball. I still ain't scoring any points. So that may mean that somebody like, Cauley Stein is still going to be in a better position than me. Or somebody who's actually pointed down, like a Nerlens Noel, is still going to score more fantasy points than me, because even though I'm in a plus situation, I'm still a minus player. So you have to play that into effect too. Points and pace, like I said, go hand in hand. If I sort pace by descending order, who are the most paced up teams tonight? See, it doesn't always coincide with who's the most pointed up, but who's paced up? Then we see Dedmon, Birch, Bamba, Drummond, whatever. These are players that I would then dig into. I would start formulating little lists of the players that I like that are pointed up, paced up, high usage, high fantasy points per dollar, high value in an optimizer, ownership, whatever. And in a lot of cases, ownership would give me confidence if it's a core play that everybody's on the same thing, which tells me I'm on the right track. etc., etc., etc. And I'm just going through a mental checklist as I formulate a process telling me which guys am I going to be paying attention to tonight and which guys do I value over other guys that Tuesday it might be this guy, Wednesday it might be that guy, right? They're generally going to be on the same list of players, so I'm not playing duds, but I'm looking at players that are in position to succeed tonight, that have a steady floor and are in a position to test their ceilings. That's how I would do basketball. Like I said, this is a DFS minute, not a DFS hour. I would dive into today's research for NHL games, and I'm looking at implied team totals. There is an inflection point in the historical numbers of players that typically reach value in hockey. When the implied team total is over 3.4, those offenses typically produce. Okay? That doesn't mean anything about Vegas's accuracy or anything. It's just strictly an inflection point upon going back through game after game after game after game historically and finding out implied team total of over 3.0. Boom, the team had a good night. And the producers had a good night. Doesn't mean that fourth line guy is all of a sudden going to go nuts and get you 5 or 6x return. It means that the overall offense is one to target because they typically produce well. And in that offense, if you can get the production pigeonholed, you can have yourself a good night. This is where I start when I'm looking at NHL research. So Tampa Bay would be on my list. Scroll down a little bit more. As this opens up, yeah, of course you're working on it. You're going to see Boston. You're going to see some other of the big names, Washington Capitals tonight. You're going to see some of that stuff pop into here. There's Washington, 3.7. Also up there with Tampa Bay. Scroll down a little bit more. Let's unveil Boston at 3.6. So we got 3 teams over a 3.4 right now. Let's scroll down one more. Look at that last game on the night. We see 3.3. Now, that doesn't mean this game can't be the shootout of the night and blow up. It just means historically, Washington, Boston, and Tampa Bay are where I should focus. I'm going to tell you, there are some people that are talking about these 2 teams down here late night tonight. There are plenty of people that see the Boston odds at minus 200, and they love Boston. They know Ottawa stinks. They're going to be focused on Boston tonight. Boston's going to be chalky. They're a brand name. It's easy for a casual player to want to play their favorite players and lock onto those guys and say, hey, they're playing a bad team tonight. They should do well. Obviously, DFS is deeper than that. We're talking about that in our coaching rooms today. Washington, another big odds favorite with a high implied team total, should also be rather chalky. And the chalk tends to focus on short slates, like 4-game slates, in a couple of key areas. I would imagine those are the 2 areas, and I think that our buddies here in Tampa Bay are getting a little bit overlooked. New York is considered a little bit better defensive team than some of the other teams that the others are facing, but bottom line is we've still got that high implied team total. We've still got Vegas odds in our favor, and when we're typically 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th down the list on a bigger slate, we get overlooked big time. Everybody focuses on the top. 2nd and 3rd place kind of get overlooked. I think Tampa Bay is in a pretty sneaky spot tonight. Nobody can argue that Tampa Bay can't blow up. Will they tonight? I don't know, but nobody can argue that Tampa Bay won't blow up. If I had 8 teams on this slate tonight, Tampa Bay is going to be in the top 3rd of the scoring an awful lot. More so than New York, more so than Ottawa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yet their ownership is going to probably be a little bit lower than it should be for their position, and that's where I gain leverage, and that's what I look at. And that's what I use these ITTs for. That's what I use general knowledge of the league for. If this is the type of coaching, this is the type of explanation that you need, that you feel will make you a better player, you need to contemplate becoming a VIP inside DFSArmy.com. You need to jump in there today. Follow the link in the comments section. While you're down there, like and subscribe to the video. I'll keep putting this stuff out there. It's getting great response. It's getting great review because we're trying to keep it as short as we possibly can to give you that DFS minute. So once again, it's your buddy Chop It On, represent DFSArmy.com for the DFS minute today. A little bit of basketball, a little bit of NHL. Hopefully you see where we start our research on a given day, and that points you in the right direction. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.